parade been canceled. What's going on?
Well, it seems we had a little incident down in the staging area, Sheriff. I'm still trying to sort it all out.
A little incident? A little incident?
Hey, hello there, Miss Gulch. I didn't see you there. What's the problem?
It's complete chaos down there, Sheriff. Problem is that bunch of lunatics from down there on at that church on the edge of town. Something has got to be done about them, Sheriff. They have destroyed the Christmas parade.
Did I hear what I just thought I heard?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Jasper?
Yep, and our friends from the Fairlawn Church of the Good Shepherd.
Oh no, not them again. Was the mule drunk?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know how to give a mule a sobriety test.
Well, I guess I might as well get comfortable. This may take a while. Where are they?
I put them back in the holding cell till I could write up all the charges.
And the mule?
He's tied in the impound lot along with the goat and the dog.
What? We've got a goat and a dog too? Okay, I can't wait to hear this story.
Well, if you'll just give me a minute, I'm still trying to draw up all the charges.
What do you have so far?
Disturbing the peace, destruction of private property, animal cruelty, violation of the leash law, inciting a riot, indecent exposure, litter.
Hold on a minute. Remember how long it took to do all the paperwork last time? Let's just get the facts straight before we make any formal charges. So go ahead and bring them in.
Just a minute, Sheriff. These people are a menace to society. As a tax-paying citizen, I demand justice this time. Just what did these people do? Well, for starters, they took out the entire percussion section of the high school band.
It was one person, Sheriff.
That's beside the point. The drum sets the pace for the whole parade, and they then stampeded through the honor guard and obliterated Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman?
The school's float.
Yes, the school's float. Took 286 rolls of toilet paper and 3 weeks to make that float. They took it out in a matter of seconds. And we were going to reuse that toilet paper too.
You want to reuse the toilet?
Yes, Frosty was made from rolls of toilet paper, and we were going to disassemble him after the parade and then use him.
Not much chance of that now. It's strewn all over the place down there.
Exactly.
Now, Miss Gulch, I've had dealings with these folks before.
I have too, Sheriff, remember? Back this same time last year, they wrecked my garden.
I remember, but they also put everything back good as new, didn't they?
That's beside the point, Sheriff.
Now, Elmira, I would like to be able to handle this situation out of court, so to speak. These folks mean well. They're just a little misguided. Now, I understand that folks might be a little upset right now, but I'm just going to question these people before I make any decisions and press any charges.
But what about all the damages, Sheriff? Surely you don't expect the law-abiding citizens of this county to have to pay for all that destruction now, do you?
Everything will be set right, I assure you. Let's just see what they have to say first.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, Deputy, you can go ahead and bring them in.
Yeah, better you do me, I think.
You kind of swimming.
Evening, Sheriff. Nice to see you again.
Looks like the pleasure is all yours. Do you want to explain what happened tonight?
Well, it's just another big old misunderstanding. You might remember, we're members of the Fairlawn Church of the Good Shepherd. But we were just trying to get the Christmas message out to the town folks. I think you might got just a little bit out of hand. But mind you, nobody was hurt. We'd be glad to pay for all the damages.
You sure didn't mean no harm, but
Seems like I've heard that before. Now just tell me what happened. You didn't try to jump another one of those live nativity scenes.
Well, not exactly. This year we just figured we put some nativity float in the Christmas parade. You know, trying to do our civic duty and tell town folks about Jesus at the same time.
You didn't try to turn the mule into a camel again, did you?
man, we learned our lesson last year. We just going to try to use that donkey for Eunice, you know. Drive it on, or a donkey, so it should have worked, you know.
Did you give him any of that mulberry wine?
No, that didn't work too well last year.
Well, that's good.
So this year I made him up a special cocktail. some more brewed wine, her extra brewed wine, her blackberry wine, her grape wine.
Well, good grief, Eunice, isn't there anything you won't try to turn into wine? Mind your business, Minerva. I've told you before that my wine's used purely for medicinal purposes. The good book tells you to drink a little bit for your stomach and all your other ailments.
Well, that's one passage of the Bible you don't have any trouble following, hey, Eunice?
Don't you push me, Minerva. I've already taken on one old goat today.
Easy, Minnie, don't let her get to you.
Just what kind of ailments are you trying to cure with all that wine anyway, Eunice?
Maybe she's getting ready for that swine flu pandemic they keep talking about.
Well, if it's got anything to do with pigs, I bet it'll start with you.
Okay, now that does it.
Excuse me. Is that Frosty Broomstick?
Deb, will you please disarm Miss Jenkins? We don't need to add any assault charges to this. Okay, let's get back to the story. Miss Levins, was you to ride Jasper?
Yes, ma'am, she sure was. See, I've been using him to bring taters up from my cellar to get him used to 2 old bags of riding on and being strapped to him, you know.
Excuse me, what are you saying, Clyde?
Well, sounds like your Dilly Blevins calling you a big, lumpy bag of taters.
Oh, that's it, y'all. Y'all want one lump or two?
Okay, Miss Jenkins, that's enough. Unless you'd rather have Maggie go ahead with the charges.
Charlie Tony loves a tail.
Okay, now, let's start at the beginning, shall we? You said your entry in the parade was a nativity scene, is that correct?
Yep. See, I got my old hay wagon fixed up, and we draped some blue sheets across it, run some Christmas lights around it, and they look like a starry night. That's where we figured to put her heavenly choir. Minerva, Gladys, and Myrtle.
Myrtle?
Yeah, Myrtle Crenshaw.
I love your Myrtle.
You get to meet her last year, 'cause she come down from town, and she wasn't able to get out and about.
Howdy, Sheriff. Nice to meet you.
Same to you, I think. How did you get mixed up with this bunch?
Well, Eunice here is my cousin, twice removed on my grandpappy's side. I just thought I could help out with the festivities this year. I kind of lost out last year on killing my gal.
And you know, Myrtle, honey, I could have set your gout to rights in no time if you'd let me have half a chance. I do believe that my dandelion wine would have fixed that right up.
Now, Myrtle, don't you believe a word of it. That wine of hers got us in all sorts of trouble last year.
No, it wasn't my wine that caused it last year. It was that old fool mule of Clyde's.
Okay, let's just forget about last year and concentrate on the here and now. You said you fixed the hay wagon to look like a starry sky?
Yep, sure did.
It sure was pretty sharp. You should have seen it.
And after the hay wagon, Mary and Joseph, that's Clyde and Eunice. It's supposed to fall with Eunice riding on old Jasper.
I thought you usually played the role of Joseph.
Well, generally I do, but not this year. I won't really mix up that old crazy mule again. So I let Clyde be Joseph, and I was gonna drive a tractor and pull the trailer. Barney, a shepherd here, he was gonna bring up the rear leading sheep.
Hey, Your Honor.
We are not in session, Mr. Dittwalder. You can address me as sheriff. Okay, let's get down to the facts. Now, exactly what happened?
It was easy. Over there.
Now, wait a minute, Sheriff. It wasn't my fault. I didn't know there's a history twixt Eunice and Homer.
Homer?
The goat.
Okay, just why did you have a goat and what happened to the sheep?
Well, after last year's, what we'll just call an unfortunate incident, Joe Edwards wouldn't lend us no more of his sheep.
Well, can you blame him? It took us now over 3 days to catch them critters last year.
Well, that horn don't work.
And don't forget about his old cow. Joe claimed he had to put her down because she wouldn't give him milk.
Well, wouldn't you if you'd have had Minerva here bouncing all over you?
Now, wait a minute. I didn't bounce all over that cow. I fell on her when Chester knocked the hay bales out from under me. Besides, that cow was old. She probably hadn't given milk for years.
Yes, I think old Joe just claimed that so he could make some money off the church.
So you had to make restitution to Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, we sure did. Took 3 kettles to take that old colonial bag of cow.
And another 2 kettles to pay for the rest of the damages.
Peeling all those apples completely ruined my manicure. It's taken forever to get the stains off these cuticles. Just look at here.
I know. The trick's to soak your fingers in some vinegar just as soon as you can. I always try to keep some on hand just for that very purpose.
Yeah, You might want to keep an eye on where you keep the on-hand vinegar. You left it on the table. Eunice thought it was a glass of water. Took a big swig, spewed it all over the preacher.
And you know, comes spewing out of that woman's mouth either. You remember our next 3 sermons over that little incident.
I was about to choke to death. Besides, he just misunderstood. He's always been a little hard of hearing.
Believe me, Eunice, it came off loud and clear.
Well, it was her fault. She set me up.
No, I did no such thing, Eunice. You should have been paying more attention to what you were doing.
Ladies, let's get back to the goal, shall we? Mr. Ditwilder, will you please continue?
Like I say, Joe said he wouldn't trust us with none of his sheep. He said we could take his goat. He said Homer could take care of himself.
But you're supposed to be a shepherd, not a goat herder.
I know, but I started thinking about that passage in the good book about separating the sheep from the goats. So I figured we had to have both. Of course, I got a new understanding about that passage about now.
Why? What happened?
Well, I had it in my mind to keep a goat on a leash. Well, he didn't have it in his mind. He kept tugging and balking, and whenever I tried to get him to follow, so I just got a really good idea.
Which was,
Well, I tied him to my belt, so he couldn't get away from it.
Sure was a good idea, Hardy. I like that.
I thought it was a good idea too. Well, at the time, then I gave him some of your concoction there.
In other words, you got the goat drunk.
No. I just calmed him down a bit, and I had him completely under control, Sheriff.
then what went wrong?
Well, I noticed Clyde was having trouble hoisting Eunice up on Jasper's back, so I wanted to see if I could give him a hand.
Not a bad shoulder.
And
Well, like I said before, I didn't know Eunice and Homer had issues.
what kind of issues?
That fool goat keeps getting in my yard and trying to eat Clyde's underwear off the clothesline.
It's called they've been sucked in wine, woman. What you expect?
I expect Joe Edwards to keep his goat up, that's what. Now, Sheriff, my yard is completely fenced off, but somehow that goat still manages to get in. I've broken 3 perfectly good brooms over that critter.
So I take it the goat recognized Miss Leggins?
Oh, did he ever. He lowered his head, and before I knew it, took off right after her.
Did he reach her?
Well, no, remember, he's tied to my belt.
So you managed to hold the goat back?
Well, for a few seconds anyway, till my belt give.
Then what happened?
Sir, me and Homer had a tug of war right in the middle of the street with my britches. I about lost my dignity right in the middle of the lane.
Well, at least the other word don't look like it been tie-dyed by some drunk hippie. That's embarrassing, let me tell you.
Oh, hush up, Clyde. Everybody's tired of hearing you complain about your underwear. There's plenty of homeless people out there that'd be glad to have your underwear.
Then how about we find some of them and make us a donation?
I ain't sure you can find anybody have cotton picking things besides. They already got it bad enough already. That going around wine and soaked underdrawers.
Chester, you stay out of this.
Yeah, Chester, shut up.
See, have you ever thought about just buying some underwear for straining wine?
Yeah.
Then you could just use them year to year, and we wouldn't have to hear Clyde talk about it all the time.
Now, Harvey, the good book says to use new wineskins for new wine. So you see, that means new underwear for new wine too. And they're still perfectly good, so it don't hurt Clyde to get some use out of them afterwards.
Eunice.
Oh, don't you but you miss me. You certainly don't object to using my wine for them animals of yours now, do you?
Not tall.
Excuse me, but can we get back to the story? Mr. Ditwilder, you were saying that you saved Miss Jenkins from the goat?
That's right, Sheriff. I managed to stall Homer long enough for her to get out of reach of him on the back of Jasper.
Yeah, but poor old Jasper wasn't quite so lucky.
Oh?
Oh, no. After Homer busted loose from old Harvey, he come back and he took another swipe at Eunice and got old Jasper.
I tried to stop him, Sheriff. I really did. Except I got tangled up in my breeches and fell over something.
Yeah, that would have been the run from the marching band, Sheriff.
Well, them students ought not leave their stuff laying around.
It was strapped to him.
Boy, what's
So that's what it was. My headdress had come loose, and between the tops and the bottoms, I had to make a choice. I couldn't see where I was going.
And what were you doing during this time, Mr. Jenkins?
Well, that's about when Homer butted old Jasper there, you see, and it set him off big time, let me tell you. He was a bucking out of kicking something fierce. And I was trying to cut him loose from that there hay trailer before he got hurt.
Before he got hurt,
Of course.
we were the ones jerked around back there.
Yeah, we about hung ourselves on those lights.
Oh, you ought to see them, Sheriff. They look like puppets on a string.
More like spiders in a web, if you ask me.
What's worse, Chester chose just that moment to plug the lights in.
Well, it's an accident, Sheriff. I was in front of the light, wiring my lights up to the tractor inverter, 110 inverter. We want some bright starry lights back there. I didn't know what was going back there. I heard them all squalling and hollering, smell a little hair burning, and I come loose as fast as it could.
Yeah, you should have seen them, boy. The way they was squalling and the dancing around. Well, people thought they was in the spirit for sure.
You know, I believe they finally did manage to hit that high C they've been trying to reach for the past 2 years.
That's not funny, Eunice. We were nearly electrocuted. Just look like it did not burn.
It proved it, you ask me.
What happened after that?
Well, it's just about that time that old Jasper broke free, and I took off after him, I did.
To save Mrs. Jenkins.
Well, heck no, that's my mule. I was going to save Jasper. Eunice had such a chokehold on him, I was afraid she'd cutting off his wings.
Well, she sure did have a tight hold on him, didn't
She
she?
sure did. Yeah, stuck old Jasper like a tick on a coonhound, she did.
Well, I had to. You men sure wasn't any help.
Now, Eunice, if you hadn't been a swallowing and a caterwauling with every bit, well, old Jasper would probably settle down a lot sooner. Oh, how sensitive my mule is.
Oh, excuse me. Holding on to a mule's neck, being chased by a goat wasn't exactly my ideal lot of fun, you know.
Sunday.
And if that wasn't bad enough, here comes that dang dog.
Dog? Where did the dog come from?
Yeah, and he was with me, Sheriff. Every time I pull that mobile tractor, old Blue jumps up there beside it. I don't pay no attention to it. He goes with me everywhere I go.
And why did he get involved?
Well, he's an Australian Shepherd. Probably one of the best dogs in the county. Now, probably even in the whole state.
I tell you, Sheriff, he took a blue ribbon 3 years in a row at the county fair. He'd have won the spelling bee if it hadn't been for that knee and pneumonia.
He sure did. So old Jasper Humble come by barely like it is. Shoot, he just jumped off that tractor and went and done his job.
Okay, just for the record, did he have any of Clyde's wine?
No, I ain't feeding that dog none of that crazy stuff. Of course, he might could use some about now. I found him carrying another tractor, shaking like a leaf he was. Sure, old bitch getting running. Missy says it's more of him than do the dog with her anyway. I don't know why, just because I kissed him goodbye and pat her on the head. I don't know.
That would be a shame if that dog got run. He's a dang good dog.
Well, you know what, there just so happens I got some of that wine.
Oh, you better watch out, Chester. Don't shake
It
that
is
bottle.
a big set.
You seen what that stuff
right
right
now.
Never drinking one like that.
No,
Give me that. You ain't going to waste no more of my fine wine on them old animals.
Deputy, please confiscate that wine. It looks like we're gonna have to treat that wine as a controlled substance.
that's a pretty good idea.
Need a
there,
raise,
sir.
Sheriff, I need a raise.
But it's just medicinal.
Okay. So that's a good idea, Sheriff, I'm gonna tell you this, because some of that there wine you was bruised up, why, it'd take the hair off a cat.
You see what you done now, Clyde? Next thing you know, they'll have the revenue snooping around here.
That might not be a bad idea, but let's get back to the story. How did you finally get Jasper to stop?
For sure, how did you do that, Eunice?
You're asking me?
This old Blue, I tell you, he stopped old Jasper dead in his tracks. Of course, Eunice didn't stop. She went over there on Mule's head like she'd been shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, tell me about it. One minute I'm bouncing around on the back of a mule down through there, and the next thing you know, I'm digging out of a mound of toilet paper.
Yeah, that man of toilet paper just happened to be Frosty the Snowman.
Tell you what that was, it's kind of hard to tell. It's hard to recognize as Eunice crawled out in the old room. I thought old Frosty come to life.
And she come out swinging, let me tell you. That put a stop to that old goat right now, sir.
I was going after you, Clyde.
But Eunice.
You was supposed to control that critter. How in the world I ever let you talk me into getting on the back of that fool mule is beyond me.
I've been wondering the same thing, Miss Jenkins.
We kind of shamed her into it, Sheriff. After all, Jesus rode down the streets of Jerusalem on a donkey on Palm Sunday. Eunice should be able to ride down on Main Street on Christmas parade.
That and about a quart of mulberry wine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was just to settle my nerves. And it was a good thing I had some too, because it limbered me up real good. Otherwise, I'd be broken up and in the hospital about now.
Well, was anybody actually hurt?
Yeah, not really.
And the animals?
They appear to be all right. They're all tied out back.
Well, it appears that we can put this thing to rest. Are you willing to clean up all the mess and pay
pay for all the damages?
Well, of course we are. That's why the church set up emergency fund after last year, just in case something like this happened again.
Well, it seems everything's settled.
Wait just a minute, Sheriff. You gonna let them off that easy after they ruined Christmas? What you doing? What do you call it? You wrecked the Christmas parade, destroyed the band, decimated Frosty, and Lord knows how many youngins y'all traumatized with all these stampeding animals.
But that ain't Christmas. Christmas ain't about a parade or a marching band.
No.
It certainly ain't about a silly old toilet paper snowman.
Christmas is about peace, love, and goodwill towards men.
Yeah, it's about the love and mercy of God.
And that can't be ruined.
Granted, we might put a little bit of hurting on the way we celebrate Christmas. Face it, it ain't been right for years now.
There's always people running around here at Christmas time like lunatics spending money they ain't got to buy stuff they don't need. I just don't understand.
See it having fist fights in the stores over bargains, out front over a parking spot.
And all that old stuff about Santa Claus and them runny-nosed reindeer.
That's red-nosed reindeer, Eunice.
Well, have you ever seen a red nose that wasn't running?
Either way, it has nothing to do with the real meaning of Christmas.
She's right. Christmas is about Jesus coming down to save mankind.
And that's what we're trying to remind people with our float. Things just seem to go wrong every time we try to tell the story.
Well, Elmira, they appear to have you there.
Well, I can see I'm not gonna get any justice in this court.
In honor of the season, I'd rather dispense mercy.
Whatever, I hope I may merit the very idea.
Here, Elmira, you've got your broomstick.
Out, you right home.
Okay, all right. You just wait, Sheriff. Elections will be coming around and then we'll see what's what.
What a character. Very well, you all can go, but make sure you clean up all the toilet paper and make restitution to the school for the other damages.
It's gone. Clean up your mess, sir.
Well, ladies, I guess we better bring out the apple peelers.
I wonder how many kettles it'll take.
Who knows?
I hope so.
How much does 286 rolls of toilet paper cost anyway?
Hey, you think we could just use applesauce this time?
Oh, no, that stuff has high fructose corn syrup in it. We might end up poisoning somebody.
Besides, I'm going to use them apple peelings to make wine out of.
Now, Eunice, how would that look, using something from a church to make wine?
As if we didn't raise enough eyebrows around this town.
Yeah, but I just hate for it to go to waste. And the good Lord turned water into wine, didn't he?
Yeah, but he knew what he was doing.
I'm going to that run, Barbara, I'm sure it's going to cost candy. What those things cost anyway?
Don't they make drums out of animal skin?
Heck, I know why.
I was just wondering what that would sound like.
Oh, we better not do that. Old Joe Etter just give us another bill. We can't afford it anyway. Besides, we might be able to use it to clean up all that toilet paper. I hear they'll eat about anything.
Why, don't you believe that I tried to lure that goat in the backyard with some scraps old Ulysses? Why, he just turned his nose up at it.
You mean you've been letting that old goat in there on purpose?
Shh! Quiet, Eunice, I'm here to you. She gets powerful upset when she finds out that I'm doing things like this, you know. Can't tell no difference. One night I come in and I thought she'd left me my supper on the side table. I didn't know the difference till I got to them eggshells and coffee grounds and chicken guts.
I heard that fly,
You now, buddy.
You remember that crab apple jelly she donated to the church was ours last year, huh?
No, you mean crab apple. It's crab apple.
Did you taste it?
No,
It sure ain't right. I don't know what it was, but it sure wasn't no jelly.
I thought it looked funny when I was a
Well,
celebrity.
just hold on, you know that thick Ulysses cooking has got an acquired taste. It takes a while to get used to garbage. I mean, you're cooking like that.
Do you think that's it for them this year?
We can only hope.
You know, Sheriff, we might need to put someone undercover in that church. That way we could get a heads up on what they're up to.
That would be a good idea, but I'm sure the county can afford to have it paid.
Yeah, you're probably right. How in the world those folks keep their purse beyond me?
You and me both, Maggie. You and me both.